What's up guys, DP Connect at DLife HD, and today we're going to talk about RBI Baseball 20. This series has been getting better and better on mobile every year. Is this year going to be the best yet? Well, they definitely make several changes to this version that has made many advances for a more realistic and modern take on the franchise. So is this one of the best arcade baseball games on mobile? Stay tuned and let's find out. Firstly, let's go over game modes. There are several game modes in this game. You can play a regular exhibition game where you can choose your favorite MLB team, NL or AL Classics, or Legends, as well as the National American League All-Stars. You can start a new franchise where you can play several seasons as your own team of choice. Here you will be able to manage your rosters and lineups, trade players, manage free agency, reserves, check out the standing, team stats, and league leaders. You can also adjust the franchise settings by setting injuries on or off, as well as set your trade player options to unrestricted, which you'll want to do. Lastly, you can play postseason mode where you can play a playoff series with your favorite team. Check your postseason bracket, change lineup and rotations, team stats and standings. As with all the previous years, the only game mode missing on the mobile version is the Home Run Derby, but there are many other mobile games out there that already do this. Now let's go over controls and gameplay. The controls is one of the areas where things have changed quite a bit. There is now a new modern take on the batting and pitching. The batting is done now via one button and a power meter that goes from 0 to 100% depending on how long you press it. We usually just go 100 all the time, but you can delay your batting enough to where it's only partial power. In terms of batting, you now don't have to move your batter in the box. You can just wait for the right pitch and swing. It's a nice streamlined approach. As far as the pitching, you now have more than 2 types of pitches. On the previous version, all you had was the slow and fast pitch. On this one, they have carefully gone through all the pitches in the game and given you their actual type of pitches, so you have a variety of pitches to choose from. We were able to use a 4-seam and a 2-seam fastball, a curveball, a slider, a sinker, a cutter, and a changeup. After you choose the type of pitch you want, you can select the position and how fast you want to pitch it. It's interesting when the player starts to get tired. The pitch begins to move around a lot and becomes much harder to control. That's a really cool touch because there are still some pitches that the particular pitcher is confident about and are still usable. The other cool thing is that even if you don't like these new modern controls, you can also just change back to the classic mode that was used on all the previous versions of the game. The gameplay also has a lot to do with the controls, so we're going to take time and talk about the fielding here because there have been some changes to that as well. More noticeably is that the way the players run to bases. On the previous version, the game, all you had to do was slide your finger where you wanted the player to go. On this version, you have to tap the circle representing the player and then tap the base where you want them to go. They've added a second step to it, but it works fine too. In terms of the fielding, you always had the option to change the fielding to manual, where you freely move the player around that hasn't been changed. By default though, it's set to the computer doing it for you. The only thing that we're going to say that we don't like is that there's still no controller support. In a day and age when iOS is now compatible with all controllers, it's interesting that a MLB wouldn't add controller compatibility. So that's something we hope that they will eventually add. Let's talk about the UI and graphics. There's not much change to the UI. It looks almost identical to last year's version. The UI is clean, responsive, and easy to use. The coolest part of it is that you can adjust the UI according to your favorite team. That's a really nice touch. The graphics has taken a huge step forward this year. The amount of detail in the players have definitely taken a step up. So there are more players that look like the actual counterparts instead of everyone looking almost the same with just different skin tones. The stadiums all look a whole lot better with a bunch of added detail. Great shadows and lighting added to both the players and the stadiums. There are little animated touches around the stadiums that just make it look more realistic. Even the crowds look better. The camera work, angles and lighting used also add to that realistic feel. All of this combined makes it look like MLB The Show, a bit while still keeping the arcade game feel. It's honestly the best of both worlds. Music and sound.
Long live the king, long live the king.
music lineup in these games is always super strong with a variety of musical choices that play in both the background of the menu screen when you make a home run, in between innings and after the game. In terms of sound, they play through the whole game. The crack of the bat, the sound of the ball hitting the mitt of the catcher, the sound of the announcer calling out strike, ball, out, foul, and home run add to that arcade-like feel. The only thing that would be great is if they added a little more words to the announcer so that it can add another layer of realism to the game. Something simple as saying the name of the pitcher and batter or introducing the game at the beginning. That would be cool too. Story. There's no story to the game except the one that you'll create after coming back from a crazy deficit or hitting a walk-off homer to win the game. As in the real world, things like that will create awesome stories that you'll probably want to share online with others. With all that said, this game is absolutely D-Life HD approved. It's a huge step up in the realism and quality from the previous year's offerings, and the changings to the gameplay make it a dream to play. Definitely try this one out. Even on older mobile iPads and iPhones, the game plays and looks good without any hiccups. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought about our video in the comments below. We love talking to you guys. You also can talk to us more on our Discord server. Info will be in the video description. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. Lastly, check out our Twitter account for gameplay of the latest releases. But most importantly, always remember to stay one up.